Hey, what's up everybody? Aaron Pryor from Raiden Designs here, and we're bringing you a special love edition of our sketch course today. We're going to be working on duplicating a logo from an app that a buddy of mine developed. This is a dating app called Scoop. Very cool logo, and I wanted to duplicate this as soon as I saw it. Something I wanted to include in the course. You guys should definitely check out this app. They're developing an Android version right now. You can only download this on the Apple iTunes store, so check it out. Lots of cool stuff here. If you're in the dating market, definitely worth your time. Let's click on About here, and you can check out, what it's about, how it works. Lots of helpful steps here. Very cool. Alright, so we're gonna jump in. We're gonna grab a copy of this icon, and actually first, before we do that, let's give attribution to the man who created the logo. Got this from Sean Farrell. It's a little bit tough to see that. We'll click on his actual page here, and you can see some of the other logos that he created. The Scoop one was just one of the many. Very talented guy. You should check him out if you're looking for someone to design a logo or to work with. Alright, so back to this. I'm going to move this over. Let's go ahead and click and drag this out. And I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. Back to Deadpool here. We're going to open this up in Sketch. And you can download a copy of this or just grab it like I did from scoopapp.com. Or actually, let's double check that. It's scoopdating.com, not Scoop App. Alright, there we go. Nice and big. And all we want is the logo here. So I'm going to double click and just crop out the part that I want to keep. So I'll click and drag that. Come over here and crop. Alright, so there we go. So I've already run through this one time to try duplicating it, and figured some things out along the way, and I'll share those with you as I duplicate this. My initial thought was that we had some opacity in these two shapes here, but you can actually achieve this effect without going for the opacity. I'm going to drop in a smart guide on the top here. I'm going to hit O for oval on my keyboard, and we're going to draw out an oval. About 194 pixels, I believe, is what I came out with. I'm going to zoom way in, use my keyboard keys and move that over, kind of get it centered. I can try going a little bit bigger, 195. You can go 195 by 195. I'll bring that over here. Alright, so I'll hit Command D to duplicate that and move that over. And actually, just to get the alignment right, let's bring them over here. There we go. Now I'm going to change the names on these just so I don't get confused. I'm going to come over here in the Layers panel. This first one I'm going to call Blue Oval. Click on the second one. Let's call this Pink Oval. Alright, so we got our alignment. I'm going to select both of these and bring them back over. So a couple different things here. Let's go ahead and set the colors first. So I'll click this one, get my fill, get the eyedropper, and we'll grab that pink color. Got that. Let's get this blue color here. So we're going to do the same thing. Get our eyedropper, sample those two colors. I want to bring this one to the front, so I'll click this and just do forward to bring that forward. Okay, so now we want to get this little purple piece here. So what my initial thought was maybe I drop the opacity down on both of these and I'll kind of get that purple color, but that's really not the case. So what I want to do is I'm going to duplicate both of these. I'll move this one up here. And then with both of these selected, I'm going to use my Boolean operations. I'm going to choose intersect so that I just have the portion that's touching, which will leave me with this little sliver in the middle. So I'll choose intersect. Now I have that portion there. And I can go ahead, click the fill, and sample that purple color. And then bring that down here. Alright, so that's exactly what I want. And it gives the illusion that it's kind of opaque, and that's a pretty cool illusion. Alright, so now there's another piece that you can go a little bit further with. So now if you look really closely at this, you see kind of a blue line around the outside here. So it's kind of peeking through on there, and I don't really want that So what I want to do is kind of subtract from the two. If you look at this, it's a lot cleaner. You don't see any kind of blue line, and we don't want that. So what we can do is, I believe we need to, let's duplicate this pink oval here. So I'll hit Command D to duplicate that. And then with that selected over here in the layers panel, let's drag it up and on top of our blue oval. Then let's go ahead and select our blue oval. I'm going to hold down Shift. I have both of those selected. And then I'll choose Subtract. Alright, so what that gave me now, this blue one is actually sliced, or it should have been sliced. It looks like it's not. So maybe let's try that again. I'm going to go ahead and step back for a minute. Let's see. So here's my pink oval. I'm there. We have that above the blue oval. So I'm not sure why that didn't work. Let's actually select both of these, bring this down. Alright, with both those selected, I'm going to click Subtract. That's what I wanted. Bring that back up here. Alright, so now we're good with that piece. We've got our combined shape, we've got our ovals. Let's go ahead and group all these guys. So I'm going to select all my shapes. And I'm going to rename this Scoops, for lack of a better term. Now let's get the bottom portion of this. Actually, before we do that, we want to take away, we want to slice off the bottom portion here. And so there's a couple different ways you could do this. The lazy way would be just to draw out a square, set the color to white, and then draw your triangle right over the top of that. Well, I'm not down for the lazy way, so what I'm going to do is I will draw out a rectangle, but I'm going to drop in a smart guide first, and I want my smart guide to be right along the bottom here. So I'll put that right there. See if I can move that up just a little bit. Right there is probably good. Alright, so now when I draw out my rectangle, it's going to snap to that smart guide. So I'll hit R for rectangle, draw this out. Okay, now I'm going to duplicate this 3 times. Now the reason I'm duplicating it 3 times is because I'm going to perform a Boolean operation 3 times to subtract from each of these shapes. I've got 1, 2, 3 different shapes. It would be nice if I could select all of these and try to do the Boolean operation. So if I select it all, I don't have the option to subtract. So actually, let's go ahead and ungroup this really quick. I'm going to select my rectangle and I'm going to hit Command D 2 more times so that I have 3 copies. And then let's go through one at a time. So I've got my rectangle selected. I'll hold down Shift and start with the pink one. And it kind of looks like it's selecting something over here, but if I look over here, it's not. So now let's go over here, subtract. Let's select our next rectangle. Let's get this little sliver guy in the middle here. Both those selected for some reason. What's going on? Alright, there we go. Now I got both. Subtract. Let's get our blue guy here. Hold down Shift, subtract. So now there I go. I've got totally subtracted from the bottom there. No shortcuts. Alright, so now let's draw out this triangle. I'm going to zoom way in on this. I'm going to place some smart guides. This will make it a lot easier. So one on this corner, one on that corner. Let's do one on the top and one on the bottom. You'll see why in just a minute. Let's zoom out a little bit. Alright, so now let's insert, can't say triangle or insert for some reason. Insert, shape, triangle. There's no shortcut for that. I'm just going to draw one out here. Doesn't really matter how you draw it out to begin with because we're going to manipulate that. I'll come over here into the inspector and I'm going to flip that. Alright, so width-wise, I think we're good. Let's click off. We could bring this over just a little bit if we wanted to. And the smart guides really help because they will snap to the smart guide. Alright, so we're good there, width-wise. Let's go ahead and drag this up here. I'm going to double-click, drag this down, and I think we're good there. And then let's sample the color. So I'll get my fill, eyedropper, sample that color. Let's get rid of all our smart guides. I'm going to right click, remove all horizontal, right click, remove all vertical. Let's start grouping some stuff. Command G, and let's call this one scoops. I'll keep the triangle as triangle. Let's grab them both. Command G. Let's rename it scoop icon. And there you go. That is pretty much it. We have it duplicated and it looks awesome. Alright, so there we go. If you wanted to export this, just click on your scoop icon, click on make exportable. You can do multiple sizes for your app icon. If you're going to import this into Xcode, you can export and it'll get all 3 of those sizes. And lastly, I want to say thanks again to my buddy Thomas for letting me include this in the course. Really appreciate that, as well as the Sean Farrell guy who actually did the work and designed the logo. I love the simplicity of it and incorporating the name of the actual app, Scoop, in this. I think it really plays well with how it turned out here. And as for you guys listening in, go out and get this app, download it, leave some feedback in the iTunes store, help build some popularity for this. I know my buddy would appreciate it, as would I. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this one. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.